Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we're gonna take a look at most likely the current best no legendary team for the Open Master League. And I'm totally honest with you, this team was amazing. I honestly had like such a great run. I think I was like at an 8-game, 9-game win streak with this team at one point. And one of the losses that I had in the beginning was just because I forgot to put the Dragon Breath onto my Hydreigon in the back, and I still had Bite on it, which the other game I would have won as well with that. So this team is actually amazing. There was like the, of course, more obvious Dragonite, the Metagross as well as Excadrill team that was usually the best no legendary team for the Master League. But I recently tried it out and went, I think, 6-14 with this team. Of course, got like insanely bad luck with it. You might maybe saw the short for it as well. But like I was so kind of sad because I was like, can you actually not play the Master League without using like money to buy yourself some legendary Pokemon? But turns out you can still play it for sure. This team is amazing. Hydreigon is so underrated. This Pokemon was so good for me because right now there are so many Giratina Origin around that this team just completely claps them with my backline here. We're going to still have the superpower onto our Snorlax, which can be a little bit tricky, but for example here against the Mewtwo, we will be able to catch a Shadow Ball and have now a great matchup as they're gonna go back into their Dialga. This team is insanely balanced. Like honestly, literally perfectly playable. We had a community day for both of the Elite as well, of the Metagross, as well as for the Hydreigon, but also Metagross going to be available again during the Global Go Fest. I don't know when you're going to see this video, depending on what Niantic does, but for Global Go Fest, Baldum is going to spawn, which is going to be amazing. If you want to get yourself a Metagross, I might build a Shadow variant soon. But this team was so balanced. So many Kyogre as well all of a sudden. Like I played the other team and the other team was double weak to Kyogre in the back. This team is fairly decent against Kyogre, so it was so much better. And for example, here right now, the opponent has a Mewtwo left, which we know already that has Shadow Ball, as well as a Kyogre, and there's not a lot that they can do about it. Hydreigon just completely core breaks the opponent's team here right now, and is so underrated. This Pokemon was so much fun to play. Flash Cannon, I rarely really got to this one. I think I hit one of them, but I don't think it's in the video because I think it was one of the later ones. I didn't even cut out like any videos, really. I just cut off at the time where the video was around like 16 minutes, as you see here right now. But this team was amazing. Highly recommend you to try this one out. If you have your Snorlax build, if you have your Metagross build, if you have your Hydreigon build. The Hydreigon is level 51. I don't know if this makes any difference. I just want to have it for the title, to be fair. That's all. Like, I'm totally honest. But here we're going to be able to go for the Media Mesh and get the final shield by the opponent's Mamoswine, allowing us to use the shield as well. And we will be able to win this lead here with energy advantage and basically a full health Metagross. In comes the Giratina, in comes the Xerneas. And at this point of time, unless the opponent runs the Dragon Pulse onto their Giratina, there's basically no way we're going to lose this battle. Because yes, we're going to have the Xerneas against our Snorlax, but they're forced to go for 2 close combats in order to knock me out as Snorlax is bulky enough, which they can do if they want to, but I still have my Metagross available, which now can go straight into the matchup here, farm them all the way down. But even now, if they would knock me out, it wouldn't really matter. But they don't even knock me out with a close combat. Media Mesh is coming through. We still have our Hydreigon in the back. And this is going to be a very good game here, as the opponent has nowhere to go. And we can now take a look at the next one. We're going to see a Landorus in the lead. This is one of the trickiest Pokemon to deal with this team. There, of course, we have a no legendary team here. There's always going to be some kind of core breaker for the team. Here, this is basically the worst possible Pokemon to deal with. And let's see if we can actually deal with it, or if there's going to be a loss here. Let's find out. Superpower comes through, allowing us to get the next Pokemon in, which is going to be the Yveltal. And Yveltal is, of course, another core breaker for this team, because it's going to be able to... It can actually beat all of our Pokemon, so it's going to be a little bit tricky. We were able to catch a Dark Pulse here, but we're still going to be forced to shield up the next move here, because this could be the Focus Blast already. And it's going to be another Dark Pulse. Maybe they were not at the Focus Blast yet, but this is going to be a little bit of a tough one, because now we're going to be able to go for a Brutal Swing, but we're only going to be able to go for one Brutal Swing. Because we're so close, we actually die onto the charge move, which is so annoying. So this game really goes against me the entire time, like horrible lead, horrible say-so, dying literally on the charge move there. It's kind of annoying here right now. They're going to be able to go for a Body Slam, but at this point of time, the opponent is going to let this go through. They're going to have a ton of energy already in the Landorus, and I know that 2 superpowers is all it takes to knock them out, like knock us out here, so I'm just going to go for the quick route and basically forfeit their next opponent. We're going to have the Giratina in the lead. What you can do here is 2 different things. Honestly, I kind of misplayed this most likely there a little bit. I went up to 7, I could have went up to 8. At 7 fast moves from Metagross, the opponent has already a Shadow Ball on the Giratina, but of course they can just throw it on the CMP tie because I win the CMP tie, so was no need for me to swap out early. But here we're going to get out the Togekiss, which is going to be amazing for us, as I really want to realign. If I can realign here, the energy that they gained on the Giratina is completely worthless. Like, they can throw it into my Snorlax if they want, they can throw it onto my Hydreigon if they want, but it does not really matter at all. I can go for a superpower here against the opponent's Excadrill. They're actually going to let this move go through, allowing us to go for Draco and Draco Meteor Form, Meteor Mesh here right now. And this is going to get the final shield of the opponent, allowing us to keep our shield. We can let this move go through, and we can go into our Hydreigon right now. Hydreigon's Dragon Breath is going to do enough damage here in order to knock them out, as I'm going to actually use a shield onto the Drillrun here because it's going to be the hardest hitting charge move. We're going to see the Togekiss coming back in. I have my move stored and I'd rather go for this right now. And like this, we're gonna get out the Giratina, and if they don't have the Dragon Pulse, which is very, very, very rare, we will be able to completely hardwall them, and we will be able to hardwall them here, as we can go for the Brutal Swing in order to knock them out, and this is going to be a very good game. Let's take a look at the next game coming up right now. Going to be again against a Metagross with a Kyogre. Horrible lead for us. We can swap out immediately into our Snorlax. This is going to get out the opponent's Yveltal, and it's still not going to look too good for us right now, but I'm fairly certain that with the damage output we have here right now, we might actually be able to realign in the two-shield scenario if the opponent always goes for Focus Blast. And this is exactly what I'm going to hope for. I'm going to try to get the opponent to a range where I can just go ahead and go for more body slams and try to force some shields from the opponent, and maybe keep my Snorlax even alive for later. Let's see if this is going to work out in our favor. We're going to use another shield here onto the Focus Blast from the opponent again. We are able to swap out again, but we can still go ahead and go for the Body Slam first, and this will allow us to get the knockout onto them. So now I can align my Hydreigon against the opponent's it's called Kyogre, as well as I will be able to go ahead and go for my Metagross against the opponent's Rayquaza, which is really nice for me, as they're still forced to go for a charge move here, which they're going to do right now. And like this, I will get the opponent super low. They still have the shield advantage, which is kind of awkward for us, but they're going to swap out after this one anyway, so I'm going to swap out as well. I think I'm blindly swapping here. Do I? Yeah, I do blindly swap, which was definitely the right call. As they're going to go into their own Kyogre, I will be able to go for a Brutal Swing right now to get the opponent low or get the shield, and they decide to forfeit here, and this is going to be another good game. Another very tricky Pokemon to deal with, just because Pokemon Go doesn't have abilities, is going to be Groudon. If Pokemon Go has abilities, I think at least Hydreigon might have Levitate, but I think it also has different maybe actually doesn't have Levitate, I'm not sure. But definitely Hydreigon will get hit still hard by ground type moves, which is not really ideal. So here we're gonna go ahead and go for the shield against the close combat of Zacian. I will be able to go for another body slam and force a shield from the opponent, or I will be able to go ahead and go for another one here and maybe get another shield or get the knockout from the opponent. Let's take a look at this one. It's going to be the knockout, and we can realign. They can now go ahead and go into their Groudon, and we have a Steam-Peter here, which they're gonna go of course for a Fire Punch. Not worth shielding, but at least I can align my Hydreigon against them, but it's not really looking too good for us right now, especially as they're going to have a Dialga in the back. And like this, I'm forced to go for the Earthquake here eventually, but they can still go ahead and go for the... Are they actually going to go for the Iron Head? That's kind of interesting. I'm going to go for the Earthquake here, basically straight away, in order to knock them out and not take too much damage onto them. And now we see the opponent going back into their Groudon. Maybe I should have shielded here. And now it comes down to a call. Do they go straight for Precious Blade here? Do they go for the Fire Punch Bait? I'm just gonna go for the shield, and they go for the Fire Punch Bait, which is really sad to see, because you're going to see it right now. It's really unfortunate, as you're going to lose the CMP tie. There's going to be the Precious Blade. It's going to be enough to knock us out. And this is going to be a good game here, as we will see the opponent going to have a Dragonite against us here. That's going to be totally fine. We will be able to go ahead and go for some charge moves here against the opponent's Excadrill soon. They're going to go for a Drill Run. I can take 2 of them, which is really cool to see. So we will be able to go ahead and take another one right now. Now I'm actually going to go ahead and make a risky play. I'm going to go ahead and go for a Body Slam first, because I expect the opponent to shield. They have so much energy here. They want to get a shield from me. I can go ahead and go straight for the superpower afterwards. And because we are not debuffed, it actually does knock them out with a little bit more fast move damage, and I will be able to realign and get also at the same time the shield advantage, which is really nice for us, as we now will be able to go ahead, use another shield against the opponent. It's going to be a superpower, and we will be able to go for a Media Mesh here, which will be able to get the knockout. And we see, of course, the opponent going to have their own Metagross in the back. This is a team that I talked about earlier, which is usually the no legendary team that most people prefer. But honestly, I feel like this team is way better than the other one right now, just because people are not as prepared for it. Like, a lot of people built their team around just to counter basically the yeah, what's called the Dragon double Steel line here, and we don't have anything like this. We have a Steel Dragon line, but not with a double Dragon, for example. We will be able to go for a double superpower against the Dialga here, or will be... Maybe I make a mistake, who knows, let's see. No, I'm actually gonna go for a double one here. I know that there was one game where I definitely didn't go for a second one afterwards, and they were able to go for a charge move against me, which is not really ideal. But we can take the damage now onto our Metagross, which will be able to take this one fairly easily. Draco Media comes through, we can swap out immediately into the Hydreigon against the Ho-Oh, but this is going to still be an uphill battle, as the opponent's still going to be able to go ahead and go for a Brave Bird. They swap into a Lugia, and honestly, I think that was a game where I make a mistake. Let's take a look at this. We will be able to go for the charge move against the opponent here, going to be a Brutal Swing, and this is going to actually two-shot them, seemingly. But this matchup is not as good as it seems, as they're going to be able to go for a shield. I'm forced to use a shield soon as well. I will be able to go for another Brutal Swing in time, but at this point in time, I tried to swap out, it didn't work out. Yeah, honestly, it was kind of hard counter. There was not a lot that I can do here. I just going to forfeit. There was nothing that I can do. Like, good game there to the opponent, but you cannot win them all. Let's take a look at the next opponent. A great lead for me. Finally, a very good lead for me. Finally, a fairy in the lead. I encountered so many fairy leads prior, but this time around, I didn't really see too many. So here's very nice to see some. Like, I saw so many Zacian or Xerneas in the lead before, so I kind of want to have my Metagross there because people don't expect it. But this team is still going to work out fairly well. As you're going to see the Dialga going for a charge move here, and you see me pressing the wrong move. I think I went for a Body Slam here. Oh yeah, this is kind of annoying. Please shield, please. They don't. Of course they don't. Like, there was no reason for them to do this. So now we're gonna get out the Togekiss. I can still go ahead and go for 2 Body Slams here, which I guess is fine. But we will also see that the next Body Slam is not still going to put them into range where I can farm them down easily. I think they'll still get to a move against our Metagross, sadly. But at least I'm going to take the shield here, get the damage onto them. They're gonna go for Ancient Power, that's fine for me. I can just get the energy here against them and try to get the final shield, most likely, as they're going to have a Dragon Tail Guard Chomp in the back. Something I haven't seen for longer. I was actually scared that it was maybe something like a Zygarde first, but no, they don't have the Zygarde yet. But we will be able to go ahead and go into our Hydreigon, which will be able to go for the Brutal Swing against the incoming Dialga again to knock them out with a little bit more of fast move damage. And now we're gonna get them low, but it's all down to Metagross. Can we reach the Media Mesh in time? We literally can get there one turn before they would have knocked me out. And this is going to be a good game. Close one there, but a very good one. Let's take a look at the next opponent's team here. Going to be a Xerneas. Finally, we see all the fairy types in the lead that are encountered prior as well. Let's see what we can do here. We're going to see that the opponent going to swap out into their Giratina, and we will be able to go ahead and go for the Shadow Ball against us, which is very nice. We have our Hydreigon perfectly aligned. I'm still going to go for a charge move. I don't want to get too low here with my Hydreigon, and they're going to let this move go through, allowing me to hopefully still hit the Flash Cannon. Ah no, they're going to go for the charge move, but this is fine, as we can still go ahead and go into our Metagross, try to go for the full farm down against the opponent, as I'm still actually going to go for a charge move here, as we were already too high in terms of the energy that we had. The opponent going to swap out. And is this a Groudon in the back? I think it's a Groudon in the back. It is, but we get the damage onto them. And like this, Body Slam plus Lick is basically all we really need here. And we will see that I'm going to let this move go through, expecting that the opponent going to bait me, which they clearly didn't. But I will be able to still hit the Body Slam against them. They're going to shield this move up, forcing me to shield up the next move as well. It's most likely just a Fire Punch, which I would survive. But just in case, I'm going to shield this move up, just play it safe. And we will see that the opponent is now taking the Body Slam, and we see them swapping out. They still have their Groudon alive. Maybe they still have a Fire Punch there left. We don't know yet, but the Moonblast comes through. We can go for the full farm down, and we will be able to win this game fairly easy here, as we can now knock them out with the Metagross. Final game for today. I hope you enjoyed this no legendary showcase here, which actually worked out so well. We're going to have the Mewtwo against us. Let's see when they're gonna go for the Shadow Ball. They're gonna go straight for it. Actually, I expected them to go for a CMP tie, which a lot of people usually do, and they're actually gonna go for the bait. But honestly, if they bait me, if they go for like the move basically immediately where they get this, they're going to have to take the consequences of their own actions here, as we're going to be able to catch the Shadow Ball onto our Snorlax. The opponent going to swap out immediately into the Metagross, and if I can realign, the Mewtwo is completely stuck. So realigning here with Hydreigon in the back, which is honestly one of the coolest traps for the Master League, is actually kind of fun. Let's take a look at this. We can go ahead and go for a superpower. Maybe we can go for another one and knock them out. Let's see what we can do here right now. We're going to be able to realign perfectly, and if they want to go into their Mewtwo, which they do, look what we're going to have in the back. It's going to be the Hydreigon, and now let's take a look what they're going to have in their back, because let's see here, Shadow Ball is not going to do too much damage. It's going to be a Kyogre, so it's all down to Hydreigon. Can Hydreigon carry this game? It looks very good for us right now, as they're going to let the move go through, but I'm fairly certain they're kinda in range where I can just farm them all the way down with just Dragon Breath alone. Let's take a look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4. I can go for another charge move, and honestly, there's not a lot that they can do about it. They're going to let this move go through, and I think they give up at this point of time. So this is going to be it for today's video. If you enjoyed it, feel free to leave a like, and I'll see you then. Bye bye.